Okay, so the second question I was assigned was on the mid-chapter review, page 544, and was from lesson 9.4, number 7. So number 7 asks, calculate f divided by g times x for each of the following pairs of functions and state its domain. So 7a is f at x is equal to 240, and g at x is equal to 3x. So f divided by g times x is f at x over g at x. So we do 240 divided by 3x. We can simplify that by doing 240 divided by 3, and that's 80 over 1. So it's 80 over x. So to find the domain, we look at the denominator, and in order for this function to work, the denominator can't be equal to 0. Like x cannot be equal to 0 because anything divided by 0 is undefined. So the domain is x is all real numbers with a property that x cannot equal 0. Now on to b. b is f at x is equal to 10x squared, and g at x is equal to x cubed minus 3x. So we do the same thing, equals f at x over g at x. So we do 10x squared over x cubed minus 3x. And now we look at the denominator. So we could factor out x and make it x bracket x squared minus 3. And that cannot equal 0. That cannot equal 0. So then we could bring 3 onto the other side. So x squared cannot equal 3. So we do x cannot equal square root of 3. So the domain is x is all real numbers with the property that x cannot equal plus or minus square root 3. Okay, so now C. Okay, so now C is f at x is equal to x plus 8, and g at x is equal to radical x minus 8. So we do the same thing. So f at g multiplied by x. F divided by g multiplied by x. So we do x plus 8 over square root x minus 8. So that's what f divided by g multiplied by x is. So now we need to figure out the domain. So we look at the denominator, and it's square root of x minus 8 is greater than 0. But then we take out the square root and we make it x minus 8 is greater than 0 squared. And then we bring 8 onto the other side and we do x is greater than 8. So the domain is x is all real numbers with the property that x has to be greater than 8. So lastly, D. So D is f at x is equal to 14x squared, and g at x is equal to 2 log x. So we do f divided by g multiplied by x. So we do 14x squared divided by 2 log x. So we could simplify this equation, and so we could do 14 divided by 2, which is 7. So that would make it 7x squared over log x. So for the domain, we have to look at the denominator, and the denominator is like the general equation for log. So it would be so in the general log equation, x has to be greater than 0. x has to be greater than 0. So the domain is x is all real numbers with the property that x has to be greater than 0. Okay, so so 7a, the function is 80 over x, and the domain is x is all real numbers with the property that x cannot equal 0. B, the function is 10x squared over x cubed minus 3x, and the domain is x is all real numbers with the property that x cannot equal plus or minus square root 3. C, the function is x plus 8 over square root x minus 8, and the domain is x is all real numbers with the property that x has to be greater than 8. And finally D, the function is 7x squared over log x, and the domain is x is all real numbers with the property that x has to be greater than 0.